going to do something a little different. So I'm going to teach you all something. So when I do a call out, I want y'all to respond, okay? Okay, so I'm going to say a chant. It's a Kwaibomi song. I want y'all to say Iya. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Ooh, beautiful. Okay, so a Kwaibomi song.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Emenkera Edidiong Christobot from Ika local government area in Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. What did I say?
Your name.
I said. No, thank you. No, thank you, Jordan. Thank you. So essentially, that chant is something that kind of culminates everybody, right? It announces who's in the room, kind of like, class of 20 who? 24. Just like that, right? You kind of get this sense of pride. And then I went into saying that my name is Edidiong Christobot and I'm from this place. That is something that was instilled in us as children of immigrants, Nigerian immigrants, because they wanted to make sure we never forgot where we literally come from. As a child from 5 years old, we'll go to these meetings and they would have each child stand up. Where are you from? Right? Oh, I'm from Houston, Texas. No, you're from Ika local government area, right? They made sure that you knew exactly where you were from because they want you to make sure you go back there at some point and you know how to trace that, where to go. If you ask somebody, they can point you in the... So, identities that I'm most aware of, I can tell you that obviously nation of origin, so Nigeria is that. Very proud of that ethnicity in Nigerian. Also, I will say this, that I'm very aware of race, right? So I am identified as African American, and I understand the privilege of being identified as that because of those, and I guess for lack of a better word, Native African Americans born here, roots here, and have been in that fight and that struggle, and this is what they know. And so as a person, a child of immigrant, a first generation American born Nigerian, I'm coming into a space in the world that has been built, and I'm standing on shoulders of people, men, women of color, who have been in this fight and are still in this fight. And so it affords me privileges that I'm not even fully aware of sometimes. And so that is something that I'm fully aware of. I'm also a follower of Christ, so I am Christian. It's not something that you may see all the time because I don't go out there and say, great, you gotta get saved by Jesus. No, I don't do all of that, but it is something that's very rooted in me. And the Nigerian culture, you are either gonna be Catholic, you're gonna be some form of Christian, other Christian, or you're Muslim. And so for us, my parents, my father was Catholic, my mom was not, but we were all in the Christian faith. And so that always roots me. First language, so I did that kind of call and response, which that language is actually Epic. And that was something that I lost being here in America. So Epic is actually my first language. And then my parents started to enroll me in school, and they felt like I would be held back because I wasn't speaking English. And so at that time, they had introduced English as a second language. And a lot of times, no shade, but there were a lot of more brown kids there. You could see the struggle. And they were like, we're not doing that. We're going to start teaching you English early on. So I only know like a few things from my language, but first language is something that also sticks out to me. Lastly on that is body type, body type and age. So not just physically my body type, I'm fine. Yeah. But when I was 7, I chipped my tooth, actually my front tooth, and nobody would ever know that here because I got it fixed before I got here. And so it never actually impacted the way I showed up and smiling. I've always smiled. That's the thing that my parents always was like, okay, Eddie, make sure you smile. And I always, but I felt like, you know what, I've been carrying this since I was 7. Why haven't you fixed it? And I was like, I don't know why. I think my dad was the one that impression to me. If it's not broken, then don't fix it. But then it was broken. So why didn't we fix it? So I was like, just fix this thing. And then lastly, age, right? So a lot of you all have said, well, how old are you in the cohort, right? And I've gotten like 25, 22, praise God. And what I do notice is that I do look young to a lot of people, but I'm not. And so sometimes I blend in with like teenagers, I blend in with college students, and I think that's also an advantage, right? Because sometimes people kind of don't see you coming in terms of like wisdom and just kind of advice and showing up, and so those are some things I'm aware of. Time check, almost there. Okay, leadership style, I'll say that just kind of being Nigerian, Rebecca alluded to that with her Ghanaian culture, just in being African, you're kind of seen as like domineering sometimes, or aggressive, or just loud, as I am right now. And so sometimes that shows up in spaces that people might feel intimidated by. But I also see that as a point for you to raise voice and awareness, because sometimes some people don't know how to package that or to say it. And so somebody who has that kind of pride, like me, being Nigerian, like you're taught to be prideful, you're taught to speak up, you're taught to say what you need to say and keep moving forward. And then what identities do you lean into in terms of solidarity? I'll say this, like I think that for me, I lean into just kind of like the ability to form community, right? Like that roots me. Also, the fact that a lot of people in various ways experience injustice, and so like that's something that's like very key to me. Like it's like that's not right. Let's figure out how to make it right. Like that's just something that is like a warrior spirit in a sense. And I'll just say that like sometimes. I'm kind of going back a little bit, but some of the things that you may not be aware of as well is that I'm very family oriented. So I am what they call the Adia. Adia is the first daughter in the family, but Adiawo means that I'm the first daughter of the first son in the family, right? Which is a bigger deal because I am the only girl in our family, and I also have a younger brother. Also, I have another title that my grandmother calls me, which is Obongawa, which means that I'm the person that makes decisions in the family. Wow. And so sometimes it seems as if I'm the person that's always carrying everyone, I'm the leader, I'm this and that, and you often don't get the space like this orientation has given us to share vulnerabilities, to just be open, to just be free without having to think about who got to do what decision I got to make. I could just show up and just relax and say, whew. So a lot of y'all have seen me in this space where I've been quiet, or I've been perplexed, or I'm like this, or I'm like that, because I'm trying to figure out my own thoughts, and also still trying to show up here, and also still trying to make sure that I'm being a part of community. So thank you.